This is Terraform 0 to Hero, Lesson 5. I'm your instructor, Evan Gertis. We're going to talk about the Terraform CLI, specifically commands outside of init, plan, apply, destroy. The first command that we'll look at is fmt. So we use this command to rewrite configuration files to a canonical form that matches a simple format and style. So what this will do is it'll scan the current directory for configuration files. You can also pass in subcommands. So here are some other parameters that you can pass into the format command. Second command that we'll look at is taint. What this command does is it manually marks the Terraform managed resource as tainted, forcing it to be destroyed and recreated in the next apply. Third command that we want to look at is import. We'll use this to import existing resources. So things that we've already set up in the cloud, we can use import to pull those resources in. What are workspaces? Well, the persistent data stored in the backend belongs to a workspace. Initially, the backend only has one workspace called default. To use a workspace, we just run Terraform Workspace. It starts with a default, and there are a couple of different commands that you can use for Terraform Workspace. So you can use new to create a workspace, list to show them, and you can use show to show the workspace. If we want to create a new workspace, for example, we just do Terraform Workspace new. And in this case, we're creating a workspace named bar. So if you run Terraform plan after changing your workspace, Terraform will not see any existing resources that existed on the default or any other workspace. A nice thing that we can benefit from using workspaces is workspace and interpolation. So within your configuration, you can include the name of your current workspace. In this case, if it was default, then this interpolated value would return default. If it was sandbox, it would return sandbox. So we could use this to name things based on an environment or to create resources that depend on the environment name. Here's an example. So say that I want to create a bunch of AWS instances, and then if it is default, if the workspace is default, we'll create 5 of those instances. Otherwise, we'll only create 1. When to use multiple workspaces. So you want to create a parallel or a distinct copy of a set of infrastructure in order to test a set of changes before modifying the main production infrastructure. So for example, we want to run a Terraform plan in sandbox, then staging, and finally production to ensure that we're not really messing anything up in prod. Touch on workspace internals. So workspaces are technically equivalent to renaming your state file. For local state, Terraform stores the workspace states in a directory called terraform.tfstate.d. For remote state, the workspaces are stored directly in the configured backend. Here's another useful command. So state is used for advanced state management. It is a nested subcommand, meaning that it has further subcommands. All Terraform state subcommands that modify the state write backup files can be controlled with -backup. If you want to run Terraform and debug it, we can actually use the environment variable tflog. So Terraform has detailed logs, which can be enabled by setting the tflog environment variable to one of the following values. Typically, trace is incredibly detailed, debug is very detailed, info is probably enough to understand what's really going on. And then you could use warn to catch warnings or error to catch errors. Whenever you're interpreting a crash log, it saves a log file with the debug logs from the session. So you want to look for the panic message in the crash.log file. That's going to be it for this lesson. I hope that you enjoyed. Keep on learning Terraform.